Right, so just going to go through the answers to the guided reading. I've scanned this in. I'll put it on as a PDF as well so you can access it. But I'm just going to talk through the answers too, particularly number 6, because I picked out as many as I could think of based on the text. So the first one, find a copy of a word or phrase which tells us that the narrator cannot move. It's a word that we discussed yesterday, which was paralysed. If you've got a phrase, so part of the sentence, which was a kind of fascination paralysed my actions, or paralysed my actions, or anything relating to that, as long as you've got the word paralysed in there, you can give yourself the mark. Number 2, I've underlined the word was. I was a battleground of fear and curiosity because that shows it's an example of a metaphor. If they put I was like, then it would be a simile. Okay, it's not a proverb or a command, it is a metaphor. Number 3, what time of day is it in the extract? I'll be honest with you, really struggled to find the answer for that one. I had to read through the text twice until I eventually saw the word sunset, which I've put in brackets. You don't need to mention the word sunset. What you have to recognise is when the sun would set, which would be either late afternoon or early evening. It's not nighttime yet because it says that it's happening during sunset. Okay. Next question. So, ordering the events. So, already the narrator sees the Martians emerge from the cylinder. It was given as number 1. Number 2 was a rod rises up out of the spacecraft. 3, the narrator speaks to his neighbour. 4, the narrator climbs a small hill to get a better view. And finally, the neighbour is seen heading towards Woking. Now, 4 and 5 both happen in the last sentence. Okay, everything else happens a bit earlier on, but both 4 and 5 happen in the last sentence. I shifted my position to a little knoll, so that's him climbing up a hill to get a better view. And when I looked for him presently, he was walking towards Woking, and that is the neighbour heading towards Woking. Number 5, find a copy of a word or phrase which tells you what the narrator's neighbour thinks about the Martians. So I've put ugly brute. I'll accept just the word ugly. I'll accept just the word brute. Or, and I've put it in brackets because it's not needed, if you put what ugly brute, that's also fine. Finally, on to question 6, which is going to take a little while to explain. So, how does this extract show that spacecraft crash landing is an unusual event? Mentioned 3 things. So, I've put in as many as I could think of, and I'm just going to read through each one. So, first one, people gathered to look at it. That's in the first paragraph. The fact that people have gathered round and are looking at it shows that it is unusual. Second one, it says the narrator is paralysed, and it says that they are a battleground of fear and curiosity. So the narrator's reaction would be a second reason, including anything to do with being paralysed or having fear, or being scared or curious or nervous, anything like that. The third one, which is in the start of the third paragraph, the narrator did not dare go towards the pit. The fact that the narrator is scared of the pit shows that it is something unusual, something that they don't know what to expect or what's happening. The next one is his question at the end of paragraph 3. What could be going on there? So it shows it's unusual because he doesn't understand what it is. Next one, referencing the neighbour. So the neighbour is shocked or scared, and the evidence for that is that he keeps on repeating himself. And also the fact that the narrator doesn't actually have a conversation with the narrator, with the neighbour. Sorry, the neighbour and the narrator don't have a conversation together because they are kind of scared and unsure what's happening. That ties into the second one, which is the part at the start of the last paragraph, where they are both stood in silence. So they're watching what is going on, they're watching what's happened, but they're not speaking to each other. And also the fact it says that they are getting comfort from each other's company shows that they are kind of scared and it's unusual, but they are feeling better by the fact that they are stood next to each other. And the final one, which ties in with some of the earlier ones about people gathered to look at it, for example, is that the narrator is trying to get a better view. So it shows it's something unusual again because it's the fact that the narrator wants to know more. They want to find out about it. So those are all the reasons I picked out. For 3 marks, you would need 3 different reasons. It doesn't have to be word for word what I've said, but it has to basically say or mean the same thing as the bullet points I've put. However, if you have thought of your own, please let me know in the comments underneath this video post, and I will let you know whether I would give you 1 mark or not for it. Okay, guys, hope that helps.